Good morning, Sherry here from the Delish Diet. So this morning, I want to walk you through the second mindset block, the thoughts that we think that stop us from being able to actually follow through on our intention to lose weight. So I think it's obvious to most of us that how we think affects who we are being in the world and what we can actually accomplish. But oftentimes we don't actually put that whole mindset piece into something like weight loss because it's considered something very superficial for a lot of people. Because of that thought that it's really superficial, some of us actually give it less significance in our life than maybe it needs to be for the purposes of our health. Or we just don't think of it as being something that is worthy of our attention. We're even embarrassed sometimes, right? Like it's almost like there's these two camps. There's this one camp where it's like weight loss is an obsession and everybody's into it. And, people spend a lot of time focusing on that, counting calories, weighing themselves, going to the gym, doing all these things. And that's like the culture of that group of people. Then there's this other group of people who are like, in a sense, either they have been there and because of realizing that that's not who they want to be and that's an obsession, they swing to the other, extreme of the spectrum and actually give it zero thought to the point where they go into this place of futility around it. Like, I can't do anything about it anyways. I don't want to be like those people, those gym obsessed, calorie counting, weighing themselves every day kind of people. So I'm just going to go to the other extreme and basically give up. And, and then there's another group of people that are sort of have contempt for even the conversation of letting go of weight, probably because they've been in that camp before as well. And again, see that it's not the healthy way to be, and they don't know what else to do. So there's a level of acceptance, but beneath the surface, it's not always true acceptance, right? Like it's suppressing a desire, essentially. And these mindsets of looking down on people who it can go from, like all sorts of angles, right? Like some people look down on people who are overweight, and, have these negative belief systems around them that aren't true, as though they're lazy or whatever, or have no self-discipline, etc., which is totally not the case. And then there's the other side where people think of people who want to lose weight as somehow being shallow, and it's not a worthy goal. But underneath the surface, it really comes from the place of simply not knowing how to do it in a healthy way, right? Like if you don't know and you realize that the way that society has been telling us that it's to be done with that whole obsession aspect of it, then that's not really a worthy goal, right? Like take your attention away from obsessing about that stuff and focus on your purpose in life, right? I get it. However, there is a middle way, right? There is a way to have the health that you want, the body you want, and the weight that you desire without having to obsess like that. But the first thing is actually getting past these mindsets that stop us from being able to believe that it's possible. Because if you don't believe something's possible, then obviously you're not going to take the steps required to get there, right? Because that would be a waste of your energy. So, hey, Anna. Let's see if I wonder if I'm supposed to do something to make, I have to show these. No, there we go. Okay. Still learning all the little functions of BeLive TV. So we are taking a little journey into this topic this week of 5 mindsets, 5 thoughts that people have that stop them from being able to lose weight. So we kind of covered like one of the thoughts, which is to think that it's not a worthy goal to lose weight, or to think it's there's something uncool about it, right? I really want to actually do an entire video on that. So I'm not going to go into that anymore because I have some, I'm starting to feel a rant coming on and wonder why the on screen isn't there. It just disappears. Huh. Hold on. I'm just going to fix this on screen. Okay. So I'm going to go through some of the different things I hear from people about why they struggle to even get to the place where they believe that it's possible. And I just want to say that these things that I'm going to be going through are actually excuses. Okay. And I'm not saying that in a way, like in a judgmental way. It's more just to be aware that we come up with reasons or excuses when we're not willing to look at something, we're not willing to go deeper, right? Like we're not willing to actually face the true root cause of these excuses that we use in our life. Because it's these excuses will be used in other areas of your life where you struggle, right? Like they will show up in more than just the having a limiting belief system around being able to lose weight. So, and from my perspective, like I don't think of weight loss as being something shallow. I think of any health challenge that you have in your life as being a awesome opportunity and catalyst for transforming your life. And that's actually why it's surfacing as a problem. It is saying something isn't right in your life. And the body will keep screaming that at you in all sorts of ways with symptoms. And being overweight is one of those symptoms to get you to actually go beneath these reasons in your life that you use for why you can't have what you want and transform them, go underneath, find out what the real root cause is, pull that up so you can move forward in your life. And then, you can use this mindset work in your weight loss journey. And then you can actually apply it to all these different areas of your life, going deeper, asking deeper questions of yourself to find the root cause and see what you really need to change. So I'm going to go through the reasons or excuses that I typically hear from women about why they can't lose weight. Okay. So it's as the, what I called this video was the reason I can't lose weight is, okay. Their mindsets, their body reasons, their reasons around time, and their reasons around the environment. And this tends to be the same for all of the reasons or excuses that we use for why we can't have what we want in our life. Okay, so weight loss is not apart from this idea of going in and doing inner work and mindset. This would be a very deep transformational process in one's life. So I'm going to give you the three things that I hear, like mind, the mind chatter that people have. They repeat these things in their head. So the people in my family are all big. Okay, so then you'll have this like feeling like, I can't change it because, my mother was overweight and my grandma was overweight and all my aunts are overweight. So how could I possibly not be overweight? Right? Like it's literally, we start to look at it like, oh, maybe it's my genes, right? Like I'm not responsible for it. I have no power, right? It's literally to give your power away to think like that. And I'm not saying it from a judgmental perspective. I understand it. There are things in my life where I saw my mom, my aunts, and my grandmother suffer with a physical ailment that I actually manifested in my own life, despite being a healthy person. Okay, so I'm going to share with you what that is. I have varicose veins. Okay, and they're not pretty. And in fact, it's a challenge for me to go out in public showing my legs. Okay. In fact, I'll show you right now. See this? That's I'm a 42-year-old woman. I had those already when I was 25 after having my first child. And, I heard from those people. I heard from my family members, we all get varicose veins. You're going to get, I don't know if it was you're going to get them too, or, you better hope you don't get them too. Right. And so, these things are hereditary tendencies. It doesn't mean you have to, because someone in your family or all your people were overweight, that you have to be. Your family does this hereditary tendency. It includes all of this mindset stuff, right? It's the thoughts you carry forth within you, the thoughts that your family thinks, the feelings your family has, the habits your family has, including what they eat, right? So think about it. Until you were able to get out on your own, you were literally embodying all the things that they embody. So yeah, you would naturally create similar results. But that doesn't come down to genes like you're a victim and it just fires off your fat gene, right? So, getting to the realization that, first it starts with insight, right? Then you actually have to program your mind differently, which is, something that we do in the weightless program. And there's different ways of programming your mind. Okay, so because I can't go into that in this video, a great resource is a book called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza. There's like basically a blueprint for how you reprogram your mind in there. So if you look at another one, I'm just big boned. Okay. Yeah. You can still be big boned and have the divine blueprint of your body and not be overweight. Okay. That would just be like, here's the thing. If you were watching this and you genuinely didn't want to lose weight, that would be weird. Okay. So anybody who's watching this and has that excuse, it is an excuse. Okay. Because people who genuinely believe that and actually have no problem with it and don't want to lose weight would not be watching this video. Okay. So basically, anytime I say something is an unconscious or something that a person would use as an excuse and just want to push down, I mean it because that you're watching this video, right? Like it's not that I don't believe that there are people out there who are, comfortable with being overweight. Okay. I do believe that. There's a certain, level of carrying extra weight that I think is actually a health concern. But at the end of the day, if you fall in the overweight category, but not obese, you can still be pretty healthy. Okay. Unless you have symptoms. If you have symptoms of hypoglycemia, which a lot of overweight people do, then that's a sign that your body is not in a state of balance. So, you can actually use that as a reason to lose weight instead of vanity. Right? If you feel like it disempowers you to think about body image or vanity, then think about your health. Okay. For some people, it actually disempowers them to think about their health. Right? It actually more empowers them to come at it from a point of vanity. So whatever works for you. Right? There's advantages to not thinking about it for your health. Right? Because to be focused on the health part of it can sometimes also be to focus on the lack of health, right? Like I'm not healthy, I have to get healthy, right? And that's an affirmation that we're programming into our mind, right? So, we could talk about this from all sorts of different perspectives, but if I ever bring something up and I just touch on it in a video and you want to talk more about it, comment about that, because that is a great, what you want to learn about gives me great ideas for topics to cover in upcoming videos. And I'm happy to do that. Another one is I just look at food and gain weight, right? Like that's an affirmation. You are literally telling your body that when you look at food, it should gain weight, right? Like these are like affirmations that are not very affirming, but we're doing that. This is a self-talk, that we say to ourselves. So imagine if you were saying all these things. The people in my family are all big, or, I'm just big boned. Oh my gosh. When I just look at food, I gain weight. Those are commands that you're making to your body. Okay. So you have to start actually programming, like deleting those thoughts through inner work and emotional release and stuff like that. And actually programming in the thoughts you want to have through repetition. Okay, so that's, utilizing systems like what Dr. Joe Dispenza offers in his book called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, or follow the work of someone like Neville Goddard, for example, who teaches you how to use your mind to create your reality. These are amazing authors and teachers whose work I've used in my own weight loss journey, right? Like I did affirmations, right? I had in my day timer for a while, it said, I am 135 pounds, and I would repeat this every single day and use these tools. So it's not just that I ate in a certain way. That inner work that I did helped me to stay focused on that I can do it, okay? And stay on track towards doing the right things. Okay, so let's look at our body. Okay, so there's mindset blocks that people have, and they use them as reasons or excuses. The body, I'm too tired to exercise. Okay, now, thanks, Anna. It is Neville Goddard. He's this like philosopher. He passed away in the 70s sometime. And he basically teaches, his perspective is that the human imagination is God expressing through us. So if God is a creator and created this experience that we're having, created us, and so I guess in a way you have to be somebody who believes in that, or maybe you have a different, concept for how you explain to yourself that you are creating your own reality. I resonate with this one. I was raised in a born again Christian family, so I don't identify as a Christian, but I do believe in God. So it does empower me, and it does resonate. So it's Neville, and then Goddard is Goddard. And actually he uses, like some of his books, he just kind of speaks the philosophy and he doesn't use biblical scripture, but he actually does in some of his writings and work, he actually shares different passages in scripture from the Bible and explains them in a totally different way than you may have been explained what scripture actually means. So, it's just whether you like him or not, it'll just depend. It's kind of a more on your personal religious beliefs or philosophy, whether it would resonate or not. But Wayne Dyer actually wrote a book on manifesting using Neville's work. I'm just going to go grab it so I can show it to you. So I can't remember what it's called. So the reason I'm grabbing this is because for people who wouldn't want to learn through scripture kind of talk, Wayne Dyer took the essence, and from the essence, that's where he used the essence of the teachings of Neville without the Bible talk. Okay, one second. Hi, Kitty. Okay, so it's called Manifest Your Destiny, the 9 spiritual principles for getting everything you want. Okay, so you can any self-help book you're reading for any purpose, everything you're learning in these teachings can all be applied to your intention to lose weight. So looking at the inner work that it is required. And it's especially important for people who feel like they've tried everything and nothing works. That's, when I'm working with people, that's when I'm like, okay, this person requires to go on the inner work journey, not just do the physical diet and lifestyle. Okay? And that's why I created the weightless program. So the Delish diet is, the diet, the detox, the lifestyle, all that physical, stuff you can do in your physical world. But the weightless program is to work on the other stuff, to get the coaching, to break through these reasons and excuses and get to the bottom of the cause of them. So on the body, so we'll say something like, I'm too tired to exercise. Now, you don't have to exercise to lose weight, okay? But it can help you get through plateaus. And of course, if you want to have a body that is strong and fit and toned, of course, you're going to have to Okay, I don't know what happened there, but it blacked out for a sec. Or from the body, you might say, I can't lose weight because I eat emotionally and I just can't stop myself from doing that, right? Okay, well, then let's find out what are the, from that perspective, there's a couple approaches that I take. In the Delicious Diet program, one of the approaches is I just teach you how to eat foods that are not going to stimulate too much insulin. So you can eat emotionally and still maintain your weight loss or not gain weight, okay? And sometimes people are still losing weight while they're binging on these foods that don't stimulate a lot of insulin. So we take out the worry factor, right? And the fear. And I've got a kitty coming over here. Hi, baby. Oh, you couldn't get up? I know. No kissy? No kissy for mom? Can you say hi? Oh, you're going to step on the keyboard now. Okay. What was I talking about? Okay, yes, eating emotionally. So there's the aspect of, okay, let's just take out the feeling bad about it. Let's just do it, right? Whatever. But then you want to take it deeper, right? Okay, so what is it that you're using food for to avoid your emotions? Instead of, dealing with those emotions, you're eating food. So, okay, so you recognize that. So what are you going to do about it, right? You say hi? Say hi? So that's an opportunity. So your body is telling you to eat food when you feel bad. Great. There's nothing wrong with that. It's doing something totally normal. But what does that mean? So looking underneath and finding out what are the triggers for that. And what do you need to change in your life? What acute stresses do you need to face in order to eliminate chronic stress? Or certain patterns again, right? This is, again, something that, can require reprogramming your mind. And again, going back to the Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself book reference that I gave you. I love you. You are so cute. Okay. Well, it's not really numbered, but another body thing is I can't resist my cravings for sweet and junk food. Okay. This to me is a knowledge one, right? It's really about two things. Number one is recognizing that your body is doing that because it is out of balance. If you're physiologically out of balance, meaning, you're not getting enough nutrition, so your hormones aren't expressing themselves properly. You've been eating junk food, you're feeding the bad bacteria in your gut. That's just creating a cycle, right? It's a craving cycle. You can't get off of it because you're actually malnourished. Doesn't matter if you are 400 pounds, you can be malnourished because what you're eating did not have nutrition in it. It had processed flour, for example. So all the nutrition that would naturally be in wheat is gone because it was junk food and it was processed out of it. So your body's keep eating because it's starving for nutrition and that's the only food it gets. So it'll tell you to just keep eating more, right? There's that side of it. And then for the cravings for sweet foods, you can also ask yourself, where is my life lacking pleasure? What can I do to sweeten up my experience of life? Right. So you can go to preemptively creating a sweet life. So then you don't have to use sugar as oh, hi. You don't have to use sugar as something that is just a soother, right? When babies want to suckle, they want the real thing, right? They want the nipple. And we're well, we don't want to give it to you 24/7. So here's a bottle or here's a soother, right? So we're using sugar as a soother essentially, but you also have to, deal with the physiological imbalances. You have to feed and nourish the body systems that are out of balance and fill in the nutrient gaps where you're missing actual nutrition. Because if you're missing nutrition, your body is going to give you cravings, end of story. So you got to feed yourself more on the soul level, feed yourself more on the physical level, actually through the quality of the food you're eating. And maybe sometimes the quantity, you might need to eat a lot more. Some people can't lose weight because they're not eating enough and their body's in starvation mode, right? So there's so many different underlying root cause factors for these excuses or reasons that we actually have to look at and not just stay stuck with these thoughts and cycling them, but not doing anything about them. So let's look at time. This is the other factor that people typically go for. So I don't have time to cook. Okay. I don't have time to learn. Okay, so this is time poverty, right? Like, we talk a lot about, poverty consciousness with money. But this time poverty thing is a big thing as well. If you have this belief system that you don't have enough time for things, doesn't matter what shifts in your life, the circumstances, the environment, you will still manifest that in some way, right? Like, I remember when I was growing up, I heard my mom say that a lot. I don't have a lot of time, or I don't have enough time, or she would feel stressed out by all the things that she had to do. And now she's retired and is still experiencing a level of that, right? Once we just have a belief system, we keep creating that. We're orientated to do the things that will cause us to have that experience over and over, because we're wired for the feeling of lack around that area. Oh, she's putting her little face in my arm. Oh my God, in my elbow. That's so cute. So we start seeing evidence of that as being true, or we create situations to create that feeling that we're wired up to feel over and over again, right? So actually looking at that, it's a feeling that we have. It's a belief system about time that we have that's creating that experience. It's one of the areas where it's easy for people to understand that we actually technically all do have the same amount of time in a day. We know that the sun, rises and sets at the same time for everyone. Of course, we all have different responsibilities within that time period, but our time poverty mentality causes us to not be able to see how we can overcome the feeling of not having enough time and actually have strategies in place to support us to accomplish everything that we need to accomplish in life. We won't be able to see that. And this is why, it comes to a place where people, they get that intellectually, they know it, but they're still stuck in the loop, right? It's because of programming. And, we have, a lot of us know what to do, but we just don't feel like it's this, even though like we can get the answer, like literally can hear the right answer. We can get the right coaching. We can even have the right insight, but even knowing what we can do or should do that would work, we still don't do it, right? Because when you're in a state of stress, your body is in like fight or flight. And in that state, none of the answers are going to seem like it's possible for you to do them, right? Because in that state, we cannot slow down enough to implement anything. And we're just in that stress mode all the time. And that's part of the problem, right? Is like getting out of that brain state that under which when we're in that state of mind, even the right solutions don't seem possible. Okay. We have to actually get out of that level of stress into a different state of mind, a different brainwave state. Again, this is something that Dr. Joe Dispenza outlines in his book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. When we're in a different state, then we can actually see the solutions that have always been right in front of us. And we actually feel emotionally empowered to act on them. So getting yourself out of that state is, why you do require some sort of practice of how you change your mind, how you change your beliefs, how you let go of negative emotions that are keeping you stuck in these cycles of fear and doubt and anxiety. Okay, so let's look at another time thing. It's not the right time. Okay, we just keep telling ourselves it's not the right time. Okay. It's always the right time to elevate your life, right? It's always the right time to start making changes and the transformations that need to happen. If you feel like it's not the right time, there's probably something that you're not willing to do that you know you need to do and you don't feel like doing. okay, that is standing in the way. And again, you know, it comes down to that mindset work, right? Getting into the real reasons. Stop going on the surface and go deep underneath. Stop for a minute and look at, why do you really want to lose weight? Like, what are the core reasons why? And find a why that's big enough to make it so that you're motivated to change now, right? And also looking at all the negative consequences to your life of not being able to have the life you want, right? So, you know, there's certain things that you're not letting yourself do right now because of the weight that you would just do if you know, sometime in the future had that body, you're telling yourself, then I'm going to do that thing. That's an example of not, you're staying on the surface, you know, just, you know, choose to become a person who looks beneath the surface, choose to become deeper, choose to go into the areas where you feel uncomfortable. Look at, what is it stopping you from having, doing, or being in your life, right? And we're going to actually cover that in another video. So your why will really help with the time, okay? And the using practices such as meditation or anything that gets you out of that high beta stress brainwave state into like alpha or theta. Okay, so it can be simple as being creative, can get you out of that brainwave state. And from there, you can see possibility again. And you see that you have the capacity to change. Okay, let's look at environment. Okay, so I can't afford to do it. Okay, so that's sometimes the excuse that people use is, I cannot afford to eat healthy, so therefore I'm going to have to stay in the state of being overweight. And there's nothing I can do about it, and I'm a victim to that. Okay. Not the case. If you opened up your mind that there might be a way to lose weight and eat quality food and it not be expensive or out of your budget, then the answer will come to you, okay? For all the time that you have the belief that it's too expensive, you will never see anything but evidence of that in your life. Okay, and that's probably another good idea for a video. Hi, love. What you think orients you towards experiences to prove that you're right. That's how we're designed. So you have to conscientiously look and find thoughts that are not a match to who you choose to be in the future that you want to have, and systematically pull them all out by the roots and replace them with thoughts that serve and empower you and elevate you so that you can become who you desire to be. Another one would be, my husband keeps buying junk food. Okay. So that looks like a surface problem. That looks like you can't solve it, right? It's like, this idea like, oh, I keep trying and to do good. And then, somebody in my life keeps on overtly sabotaging my efforts. Okay. So what the root cause of that is that you have somebody in your life that's not on board with you to elevate. That person doesn't want to come with you. And maybe that is, they're not overtly trying to sabotage you, but they're not invested in you elevating your life. And so they're not going to get on board with it. Some of you have partners that are the opposite. They actually want to sabotage your plans, and they don't believe in what you're doing, and they're not behind you. Okay. So if I was having a conversation with a woman right now about that, so she would be telling me all that, and it would be like, well, there's like only one of two things. It's like, you have to like accept it and be fat forever, or number two is you have to leave that person. Okay. And all that sounds awful, doesn't it? Right? What's the roots? What is actually the root cause? There's a lack of respect. There's a lack of coherence in the relationship. So what does that actually require? Diet coaching or marriage counseling or relationship counseling? If you want to get that at the level of root cause, you got to go for the marriage counseling or the relationship counseling, right? And we often don't want to look at that. That's painful. It's hard. It's hard to do that work, right? But that's going to the level of root cause. Okay. Another one is I have to cook other food for my kids, or my kids won't eat the food. Okay. Who buys the food? You do. Eventually, will your kids eat if they're starving? Yes. Unless they have like autism or something like that, where there's, other physiological reasons where they actually will starve themselves out. I'm not expecting that, that's a different situation. You need to have somebody actually working with you who has a knowledge of how to help a child who's a super picky eater eat. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about you got normal, healthy kids and, they are pushing back. Okay. I got a thumbs up from Shauna. Thanks, Shauna. I'm not sure which one was that you liked. That was a thumbs up because I think there's a little bit of a delay here. So, but okay. Number one, you're the mom. So you get to decide what comes into the house. They can decide how much they eat and how, and of what and how much, right? And if they're going to eat junk food at someone else's house, if they're teenagers and they go out and buy it with their allowance or the money they make from their job, that's fine. That's their choice. Okay. But you don't have to be controlled by them. You're supposed to be the leader. So you have to step into that leadership role in your family. If you have the situation in which the foods that, say, for example, in the Delish diet, you might not be eating starchy carbs, right? So certain healthy foods that you would want your family to eat because they don't have the same health problems as you do. They don't have hypoglycemia and insulin resistance, and they're not overweight, and they're fine eating like yams and potatoes and rice and quinoa, right? And oats. So you might have, when I first started with that, I put them actually in a low cupboard where the door was shut, so I couldn't see them. And so how I would make my meals, it would be sent, the base of the meal would be Delish foods. So they could eat what I was eating, plus I would just add a side for them, a starchy side, okay? For growing kids, that can be healthy and fine, as long as they're not also having insulin resistance and overweight. Then they should be eating exactly like you are. So just have to reinstate a certain mindset, right? So the mindset is you're not a victim to your children. You're actually in control of your life and you're a role model and you have to live as an example. Those are actually different thoughts you can program into your mind, and then you're going to create a different result and you're going to feel empowered instead of a victim to your family and what they eat. Another one I've heard is I don't have a nice kitchen. Okay. You do not have to have a nice kitchen to cook. Okay. Or back to that concept of the time thing. I don't have enough time to cook. Okay. I would say that the root cause of that is not that you don't have enough time. It's that somehow you have a lifestyle that is so stressful and not enough time for yourself, that's the root cause, right? The root cause is not that cooking takes too long. The root cause is your life is not set up for you to be optimally taking care of and nourishing yourself as a human being. And that's what you want to look at, right? Go deeper. Okay, so I don't have enough time. Why don't I have enough time? And the nice kitchen thing, well, I should add another one to that. I don't have enough time. You might be overemphasizing how many meals you need to eat a day. And you might be overemphasizing how complex they need to be. Okay, so those could be some root issues of why you feel like there's not enough time to cook. Okay, that I don't have a nice kitchen, even if you have a small kitchen. Currently, I have a sink. I don't even have a double sink, and I don't have a dishwasher. Okay, but I still eat whole foods. I cook them from scratch. I don't buy processed foods. I also don't eat 3 meals a day, especially when I don't have my kids with me, because I have my kids part-time. And some of my meals are extremely simple. They're not complex meals, okay? So I don't need to have like a kitchen, like a show home kitchen, because I'm not preparing a banquet, right? So that's no reason, right? And you can take your little kitchen that is, you know, you don't have all of the stuff that you would wish that was in it, but you can like make the most of that kitchen. What do you want to do? How do you want to feel in that kitchen? And switch up the energy in there. You know, make it something that you look forward to doing, right? Ask yourself what would get you inspired to get in the kitchen. Maybe that's why. That's the root cause. You're just not inspired. You haven't really learned to cook. You don't know any good recipes, and that's why you're not inspired. You've never had a pleasurable experience in the kitchen that would inspire you to want to do more, right? Underneath, real reasons. Okay. And, you know, like simple things. Okay, I got cat hair. You guys probably can't see that. Little simple details, right? Like go through your kitchen and clean it. Bring some fresh energy in there. Okay, light a candle while you're cooking. You know, whatever it is, I bring in videos like this. Okay, so, you know, I have a lot of videos. There's lots here. There's lots on my other page, Nutrition Wisdom with Sherry Rothwell, my YouTube channel. You could use these as things you listen to while you cook, right? Now you're not alone in the kitchen. You're getting inspired while you're cooking. Or watch people's cooking videos. That inspires me to cook. Okay, so underneath, look for the root cause of the reasons. So you might want to even like, here's a little exercise. Write down mind, body, time, and environment. Come up with all the reasons you tell yourself that you can't lose weight, that are one's related to the mind, one's related to the body, one's related to time, one's related to environment. And then ask yourself to go deeper and deeper on each one. Ask yourself, like, what's the root cause? What's the root cause of that? What's the root cause of that? What's the root cause of that? Just keep going down till you find the bottom reason. Then you know what you actually need to work with and where the inner work needs to be done. Okay, so that turned out to be quite a long live stream today. And I thank you for staying on, and please feel free to share this with anyone you think might benefit from it. And if you are someone who feels like you get this and it resonates, but you know you're just not going to do the work on your own, which is totally understandable, because we're all like that, right? We know what we should do, but we're like, unless somebody's actually doing this exercise with me, I won't do it. Give me a message here on Facebook, and I will send you some information about the Weightless program, which is a program that takes the weight loss intention to the next level, going from not just wanting to lose the weight to get skinny, but transforming your life in the process and doing inner work like this. All right, so thanks for joining, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.